Guys, we are finishing this week with scoring from the bottom position. We're going to work with a very simple and very important move called the knee lever. The knee lever serves a few purposes. You can sometimes score off of it, or a lot of times it's a way to create openings for yourself when you're at a disadvantageous position, which is the bottom half guard chest to chest. When you're about to get passed, you're about to get submitted, you're about to get put into a lot of bad spots. Oliver, can I grab you real quick? So let's say Oliver's in the turtle position here, which resembles a top chest to chest half guard, right? So when Oliver is here, okay, he has a gable grip, right? He has, like, imagine you have an underhook, yeah. So like right over here, if you see from this line, right now his elbow and his knee are pretty much in like one line. So if we drew like a plane like this, they would be one line, right? So if I cover, all right, and if I cover both that spot, and if I have Berto push him over, Berto just give him a little shove, he just falls over. Does that make sense? If Oliver a lot of times opens up his knee, now that wouldn't work, but now there's a space for my butterfly hook. And if Oliver opens up his elbow, all right, now there's a space for my arm under him, right? So either my leg can come in, my arm can come in when he creates openings for me, right? So the knee lever, a lot of times, is really good just for those openings, right? So again, I'm here, and generally speaking, like what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to do like a little hip escape here as much as I can. I'm trying to get my half butterfly in, so I can start to go for legs, I can start to go for butterflies, etc., and so that I can start to lift and create some space, right? But Oliver's knee is going to be at my tailbone, where that's no longer available for me, right? So when I feel that, and I feel like it's very, very difficult for me to get my leg in, this is a great time to go for the knee lever. So first thing is I'm checking his hip as much as I can. I want to make sure that he can't get this toe into my leg early on. Like put your toes into my hamstring, Oliver, this one. Exactly, like this is going to be really bad for me. So when I'm here, Oliver starts to do that. Like, see, I'm able to sometimes use my forearm to push, trying to just give myself enough time to uncross my feet and bring both of my feet on the outside of his knee. When I'm doing this, guys, I need to feel his kneecap, and I'm bringing his kneecap into position. I want to make sure he can't really use his kneecap. Now, I need to do two things. I got to bring my knees together, and I got to do a hamstring curl. So now I have a really nice bite of his leg. Now it's going to be difficult for him to start to move that leg. You can't stay here too long because they can use their hand and push your knee and free their knee line and stuff like that, right? So as soon as you find their kneecap, you got to start to go. So I'm going to go from the hip to his armpit, and I'm going to take away my own frame, and I'm going to take his arm away so that he can't pose for the time being. When I do a pinch, all I'm going to do is a windshield wiper towards the elevators. When I do that, look what happens to Oliver's base. You see how his base got compromised? All his weight is now on this side, all right? So now, sometimes there's gonna be like a little bit of a scramble, so take your hand off the armpit, throw a big punch so that you can come all the way to the top position. A lot of times I'm gonna make myself nice and big here. I'm even sometimes gonna give him some openings to regard. Why? Because I wanna get my 2 points. I don't want him to sweep me right back, so I'll stay here, I'll go to the head, I'll use my hand to post, I'll turn my hips, whatever it takes. But again, the most important thing is as soon as you get to the top, you keep top position, and then you don't get flipped back over, you don't get swept back over, all right? As long as you're not in too much of a fire on your way up, it's good for me because I got my 2 points, right? So again, Oliver finds himself in the chest to chest half guard. I got my frame, I'm checking the hip. This is just standard operation, right? Usually I'm here with a leg triangle or my feet crossed, trying to keep his leg as much as I can. But when I'm ready, Connor, look, I'm gonna open up and I'm gonna find his kneecap with both of my feet, just like this. And here I'm pinching, all right? Right now my knees are facing this way. When I'm ready to go, I switch my hands and I just tilt my knees like this. That's why it's called a knee lever, because my knees are working like as a lever. From here, my hand goes from the armpit, I throw a big punch, and as I throw a big punch, I can lead myself to the top position. Now maybe I'm gonna connect myself, try to pass before he is able to regard efficiently or be able to sweep him back. Guys, as with every move, this is best utilized like as soon as the person comes in. They come in, boom. All right. You can try to time it, all right, especially if you have some experience. As the person's going in to flatten you out, they already have their underhook. You lost your knee shield, there's no more butterfly hook. Just find their kneecap and use your knees to do this. And then as you do that, all the weight's gonna go onto their far side and they're gonna have no choice but to fall over, all right? Guys, we're gonna start off with this and then we're gonna see what happens when they post their hand, give us space for another hook, and then we're gonna use that to our advantage, all right? The easiest thing for them to do to defend against it is to open up their elbow or open up their hand, not to get swept. Nobody wants to get swept. Nobody wants to give up the easiest 2 points ever, giving up such a favorable position. They want to keep it as much as they can. So we're going to use that to our advantage, right? So Oliver is here. Everything is the same, right? So he's coming in. I find his kneecap. I start to go for my knee lever. He opens up, okay? As he opens up, I'm going to take this hand and I'm going to start to swing for an underhook. Guys, a couple of things, right? When I'm going here, you see Oliver's weight is so far this way. He doesn't generally want his weight to be that way, because now, look, if I overextend him and I push him away, I can even enter into his legs on the near side, right? So a lot of times, right, there's this idea of him trying to return to his starting position. So he has chest to chest, right? So as soon as I go for my knee lever, like he lost that chest to chest. As I'm starting to put the underhook, he brings himself back. That gives me a great opportunity to make myself nice and small underneath him, just like this. Guys, when we're here, every time I have an underhook, there's a rule for us to follow. He needs to have a whizzer, right? Because if he doesn't have that whizzer, I got back exposure, right? So he puts his underhook. Initially, guys, I want to block this arm from framing on my neck or from taking a crossface. If this arm is not doing anything, he can take a crossface, or he could frame on my neck just to get his own underhook back, and now we're back in the starting position, right? So I want to be monitoring this hand as much as I can, and now it just depends on his height and your height. Sometimes I'll just be able to get my butterfly hook in right over here. But if he's smaller than myself, right, and he's inside yet, I'm gonna have to do a little bit of a hip escape to put my butterfly hook in. Once I have my butterfly hook in, since I'm already a little bit on my side, this is a great opportunity to go for my shoulder crunch. So this arm is gonna lengthen, and I'm gonna put my hand in front of his ear, all right? When I'm doing that, now I'm having a very long left arm. Now I'm gonna let go of the bicep, and I'm gonna start to go for my shoulder crunch just like this. Guys, it's very important to make sure that his shoulder is below his elbow, right? So you don't wanna be shoulder crunching from when his shoulder is above the elbow, because he can just slip his arm out very easily, right? So shoulder crunch, I'm crunching on that shoulder, and his elbow is above his shoulder. Oliver is about my size, maybe even a little smaller. He feels it's pretty tight, it's pretty difficult to get out of this position. Now, I'm gonna start to kick him a little bit away from me. If he doesn't do anything, I'm gonna slide back to his wrist, and I'm gonna start to hit arm locks right over here. Or I could even discard that arm, and I could even start to attack regular arm bars, etc., right? So Oliver knows that. So he does not want this arm to be isolated, right? So as I push it away, he's gonna put his weight into me. Now I bring my knees into my chest, and I'm just gonna guide him all the way to the other direction, taking both of my feet out, scoring a nice side mount, making sure that I keep a crossface, keep a posted arm to establish my top position, all right? So this is even better because you get 2 for the sweep, and then you get an additional 4 for the mount, all right? Total of 6. Okay, so again, we're here. Oliver comes in, maybe I hit him with a knee lever early on, he posts. I make myself nice and small. We get into a position where I have an underhook, and I'm a little bit on my side. It's very important, guys, that I'm not flat here, because if I'm flat, my underhook is gonna be pretty much worthless, right? It's gonna be very easy for him to repummel, and he can do a lot of different other things. But when I'm a little bit on my side, start to repummel Oliver, like I could always get my hand back in, just get my knee shield in, I can start to play different kinds of games, right? So again, I wanna be a little bit on my side. Blocking his bicep, threading my butterfly hook in, or doing a little hip escape, threading my butterfly hook in. Now, I'm gonna lengthen this, and Oliver, by the way, should try to keep his wrist in there until the last second. If his wrist comes out, all right, then a lot of times I can shuck it, and I still have that back exposure, right? So, and the more he keeps his wrist, the more pressure I'm gonna generate. Loosen up a little bit. The more pressure I'm gonna generate on his own shoulder, right? He's gonna feel a lot of pressure. So it's good for me, bad for him. I take him a little bit away from me, he comes into me, I bring my knees into my chest, and I guide him to where he was going. Immediately going to a mount, establishing top position so he doesn't bridge me over, so he doesn't start to defend himself, right? Cool, all right, so, yes. Yeah, what's up, Gustavo?
When you're sweeping him from the butterfly,
yeah.
You think it's a good idea if I could take that leg out and post it underneath and push it out, so that way it disturbs his base?
Okay, so what Gustavo was saying is, Gustavo was saying, when I'm here, I push him away from me. This way, Gustavo, taking my left leg out?
Yeah, like right when you're in the process of sweeping.
Yeah, what Gustavo is saying is, as he brings his weight into me, is it a good idea for me to take my own leg out and start to sweep him this way? You can do that, but it's not even necessary, Gustavo. I'm gonna do that only if he tripods up.
Oh.
So come back a step. So if I'm here, that's a great question, Gustavo. So I take him a little bit away, he puts his weight into me. Look, all I gotta do is just go here. Now, if we get into a situation where I have 2 hooks, but he's tripoded up, and now this becomes a good base for him, that's when I'm gonna take it out, I'm gonna do a little chop. And that's when I'm gonna take him over. So usually if he resists by tripoding up, but if he doesn't, I'll just keep 2 butterfly hooks. I don't really even need that to do that. Okay, cool? Yeah, Naz, 1 second.
When you're doing that sweep, when do you recommend maybe giving them your leg so they can get like a quarter guard to get more points? When do you think that's a good idea as opposed to maybe trying to go straight forward?
That's a great question. There's no like answer to it, Naz. There's no answer. So what Naz is saying, it's a great strategical question. So instead of getting 6 points, I can get 9 points. How can I get 9 points? The way I can get 9 points, Larod, is I take him a little bit away from me. All right, he comes into me, I sweep him over, and I give him a toe. Because if I give him this toe, if I can my underhook, if I can stay there for a few seconds and he has his guard for a few seconds, When I am able to extract my own foot, now I got a total of 7 additional points. I got 9. So it's just kind of like a risk, because if he regards fully, or if he finds a way to flip me from there, I only got 2, and then maybe he's gonna get 2, right? So if I quickly go into mount, for sure I'm gonna get 6. But if you feel like you have total control and you just want to kind of stunt on the person and get even more points, I would say do something of this nature. I would say it just depends on how tough they are. If they're super, super tough, I'll try to get 6 probably from the get-go, just like be happy with my 6. If I feel like I can just rack up a whole bunch of points, their guard is not that dangerous, I would maybe even give them that. So give them a little chance to recover and then use that chance against them, and then you get even more points.
And if you get 9 and you get like that doesn't count, right? They gotta take it.
They gotta kind of take it, yeah, but they will take it, right? So that's like, so a lot of times, guys, like if I'm here, let's say I'm in side control, doesn't matter from where. A lot of times Oliver starts to escape, right? He'll escape. Like I'll give him like a little toe here. 1, 2, 3. We stay here. I pass again. I just got another 3. You know, when there's some fights where you see the scoreboard, you see it once in a while, where it's like 50-2 or 65-4. Like it's usually something like this. Like the person regards and then just get passed again over and over, and a lot of times pass the mount, pass to the back, where you're able to score 7 in one shot, right? So, you know, that's what we see. Okay, but play around with it, play around. All right, let's go there.